Hi friends, Toya here at Toya Talks, and I wanted to shoot a video today because I just finished this book by Sarah Jakes Roberts called Power Moves. And I absolutely love this book and wanted to share it with you guys because I actually recently did a video just talking about our election, our 2024 election here in the United States. And while there are a lot of people that are super happy about it, some people are feeling really discouraged and disheartened and disempowered. So this book and me finishing it, I think comes right on time on the heels of that video and that message, just that feeling of disempowerment. So Power Moves, I actually started this book a little while ago. It's one of those books that you don't want to just fly through. It really takes time to read and digest and understand what's going on and the messaging behind it. I read it almost like a daily reader. I didn't read it every day. There'd be times when I'd go through maybe a few chapters, a couple mornings one week, and then leave it off for, another couple weeks before I picked it back up again. Like I said, I just finished it and it was just so good. It's so good for anyone who wants to feel more empowered, anyone who's feeling held back by fear or anxiety or any of those things in your life. So in this video, what I want to do is share some of the highlights and notes that I put in and a few thoughts about them, and then encourage you to please go buy the book. I'll put a link to it in the descriptor so that you can check it out. I'm not going to be able to go through all of my notes and highlights because it's a lot. It's so good, guys. But I did just want to share some. So right from the introduction, she shares one of my favorite quotes. It's from the Course in Miracles, or A Course to Love by Marianne Williamson. And it says, as we're liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Another highlight, the only thing worse than being powerless is falling for the illusion that power can be amassed by what you have instead of who you are willing to become. That's so powerful, right? Because the truth is that what you have is not an indicator of your power. It's really about who you're willing to become, who you're willing to grow into and develop into being. Another one, if you've ever found yourself withdrawing and isolating because you're confused, doubtful, or nervous, it's not because you're weak. It's evidence that your power is under attack. And then the reclamation of your power is an act of defiance. Your days of faking it until you make it are over. So you can reclaim your power, and that's its own act of defiance. Here's another highlight. Your power is not going to come from an opportunity, position, or person. Power is an inside job, and you can waste time trying to pursue power from people and things, or you can allow it to accumulate and then erupt from the inside. That's so good. Again, power is an inside job. I'm actually going to jump to the end because that's really where I was today. So I want to review some of those highlights with you. In the end, as she closed out the book, she talked a lot about staying power. And I really want to highlight that staying power in light of many people who may be feeling discouraged or disheartened, whether it's because of the election or just because of life, right? So she offers 2 dictionary definitions first of staying power. And from the Collins English Dictionary, it defines staying power as the strength or determination to keep going until you reach the end of what you are doing. Merriam-Webster says that staying power is the capacity for continuing as an existence, influence, or popularity without weakening. What Sarah Jakes did is she merged the two to say staying power is having the capacity to exercise strength or determination in trusting God without weakening. And I love all of these definitions because it helps me at least to understand that staying power is about having a determination and a strength to keep going without weakening, without giving up, without being distracted by all of the things that can happen around us, or even when life knocks you down. And so I really loved what she shared there and how I can apply that concept of staying power to my own life and how I want to move going forward. She said that when we make the destination of staying power about living authentically and actively seeking God's heart and perspective on our truth, it allows us the freedom to no longer pretend and removes the barrier, allowing us to lean into how He may transform us. And I wrote a note that said, staying power is about living authentically and actively seeking God's will in my life as I live out that truth. This allows me the freedom to be without pretense, allowing me to lean in and fully submit to how God wants to use and transform me. And I love that because sometimes, I don't know about you, but I can get really caught up in the pretense, right? Like who I feel like I should be or need to be in the earth in various roles, whether it's in my job or how I should show up in my business, in leadership, as a mother to my children, as a daughter, as a friend. Understanding that staying power is about living authentically and seeking God's will in my life, right? And what that looks like for me to live authentically and to live out my own truth in my life, right? So that was another thing I really liked. And then lastly, she had something that says, I want to remind myself not to be so focused on the metrics that determine impact in my world and dare to open my heart to becoming more sensitive to when God is challenging me to remember that who I am is more important than what I can offer. And I wrote, remember who you are is more important than what you can offer, because it's true. Sometimes I get so caught up in doing that I forget that I'm a human being, right? Not a human doing. And it's important to remember that. Another clue, right, that's really practical that she offered is she says, my anxiety gives me a clue. It's how I can tell that I am out of authenticity and have moved into relentless productivity. And then I wrote authenticity versus relentless productivity, right? Because that's what I want. Like, I want to be authentic. I want to show up in the world as who I am, doing the things that matter to me, making the impact in the world that I feel called to do, leading my children in the way that I feel called to. When I get caught up in doing and, feeling like I need to accomplish more, I get out of that authentic space, right? But when I'm operating from that authenticity, I actually get a lot done, and I get it done from a place of ease and flow as opposed to a place of anxiety and stress. So I love that she brought that out. I think that I'll wrap up with the last couple of highlights that I have. It says, find your confidence to be authentic. Trust that you can affect change. Don't you dare get stuck in stagnancy, and do all you can to ask for help when you've gone astray. Keep your heart open to the impossible and trust that you have the endurance to withstand the inevitable fears that come when you move the way that power moves. And I just summarized that last line to say, I have the endurance, right? Make it yours. I have the endurance to withstand the inevitable fears that come when I move the way power moves. So guys, listen, I hope that this was helpful to you. I just had to share some of the highlights and notes that I just, wrote and pulled out from this incredible book, but I barely scratched the surface in this video. So what I need you to do is go to the description, click the link, and download this book today. Go pick it up in a bookstore, order it from Amazon. I always have my trusty Kindle, so that is where I read mine's on. But listen, guys, grab this book today and learn how you can reclaim your power and start moving the way power moves in your life. If this video has been helpful to you, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time. Have a great one.